hello there, good morning, and you're watching QTV this morning. I am your host, Jennifer Sonko, and joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Balde. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jennifer. It's good to be back again on this morning. It's another Tuesday, Jennifer. Yeah. How is your Tuesday?
Yeah, it's going fine. Yeah.
Is it your birthday month? Oh?
It's my birthday month. Yeah, it is, inshallah.
And what's going to be the preparation? What should we expect?
Nothing.
It should be special. This is Jenaba Sonko Youth Dialogue's birthday.
Dara du xew de.
Present yi dafa wara ñëw de. Gifts yi dafa wara ñëw de. Non ñun dañ ko xewal.
Man daal maa ngi nii.
Dafa wara yëngu.
Dafa wara yëngu de.
Waaw, affaire yi dafa yëngu comme Mr Mbodj nu ma ko def mu ne boy da nga wara bluff.
Da nga wara bluff. So moving on, let's just give you a rundown of some of the things that we have today. We have an African proverb for you. We have the newspaper review. We're joined by Mbodj to help us analyze some of the stories we have. And for the first time, we have the arts, which will come your way every Tuesdays. And this will be done by Adedarami and Hassan Sise, as well as social issues. We have fire safety in our homes, office and market, PRO, Gambia Fire and Rescue Service. Also, we have the sports update and Mbodj with Coach Mane. And I believe that is all we have. So what is our African proverb for this morning?
Well, Jennifer, let's take a look at it. When a king has good counselors, his reign is peaceful. Means a man in the circumstance and people around him, if they are good, he turns out good. Jennifer, this is appropriate. The CEO always talks about this. That's Mohammed. His job is easy because of the people that surround him. Most of the jobs are done by his people. So it's easy. When you get good people around you, they makes the work very easy for you.
Yeah.
So it's a very good one.
Yeah, so this just takes us to the need to have good advisors around you as a leader. It is important that you have good advisors, people who know their several areas, because even if you're a president or if you're a leader in a specific institution, if you think you can do something all by yourself, you are fooling yourself. If you feel like you can do the work all by yourself, it's not possible. You need good people around you to make the work happen. In as much as you're good as a leader, you have a vision. If you don't have a good communications team, you won't get there. You know, if you don't have a good administration, you will not get there. So all of these things are important. So, and it is left to you as a leader to make this happen, because you get to identify the right people that you need to associate with yourself to actually make the work good. But sometimes we see leaders who want to just take everything and do it all by themselves. Sometimes maybe these individuals as well are pushed to do this, because sometimes you do have people around you that you are working with and they sabotage you. Exactly. That is happening because they do not want it to be during your regime, or they are not in support of your leadership. This can be in an institution or in a country. So like I said, it's left to you to actually identify some of the people that you want to work with. If you don't have the power to identify these people, then that is where the problem comes in, because as a person you have to do everything.
Yes, Janaba, it is said no man is an island.
Sure.
You cannot do all these things by yourself.
Yeah.
So it's important for you to get very good people around you. People should surround you. And sometimes, Jennifer, it's important for a person to get critics. I mean, someone who will tell you, this is not good. Why not you do it this way? A leader who does not listen to his people, a leader who does not have good advice, at the end of the time you tend to fail. I mean, which is the problem sometimes in certain institutions. This proverb can fit in many ways. This proverb can fit in many examples.
Sure.
You need people by your side. You need very good people, not only people, but very good people who are willing, who will not only be a dependent, but they will be there to support you, Jennifer.
Yeah, this brings me to young people getting to identify the right mentors. Like I said the last time, it is important to have a mentor as you grow, an individual that you look at. But this particular individual, if you have a chance to have physical sessions with him or her, make sure this individual has to be someone who does not just want to tell you the things that make you feel good, but the person has to tell you the truth at any point. That is the right person for you. Even if you're a president or a head of an institution, you need to get people who will tell you something straight up, not yow lu la neex or li nga bëgg a dégg rek lañ la bëgg a wax. The moment you encourage something like that, your leadership will fail. Your leadership skills aren't good.
Exactly. You pointed out something very important. It's people don't have to tell you what you want to hear.
All the time, yeah. It's good to have people tell you the truth.
If you are only to hear positivity, something positive about you, know that, Jenaba, these people are not real. They are not telling you the truth.
But also, these criticisms have to be constructive as well.
Absolutely, yes.
We are fond of people just criticizing people due to their personality. That's not what we need. Bring in, I listen, sometimes people say, Jenaba doesn't listen to criticism, but I say no. You know why? There are specific responsible people that I go to. When they talk to me, I do listen because the things that they tell me are mature. It's based on something, but just criticism coming out from there, I'm not listening to that.
It's not only people,
but
people who will help you grow.
Exactly.
People who are interested to see you somewhere tomorrow. Some people are there, they don't have any base. I mean,
that's the thing. It's not based on anything.
Yes.
You know, when I read the news sometimes, I'm so scared. I'm like, Mr. Mboj is waiting for me. Did I say something wrong? Adedrama is waiting for me. I rush to these people. You know why? Because they have a sense of responsibility. But I wouldn't listen to someone attacking my personality. No.
Absolutely.
You've lost the respect. I'm not going to listen to you.
So it's important for us to get good people around you.
Sure.
Not only at workplaces, but even at home.
It's important.
You know, you need to get very good people. That's why even if you are getting married, they'll tell you marry someone who will be around you, who will help you grow. It's important because, I mean, sometimes it counts in your life.
It does. I think Mr. Mboj right now has, I can see the urge to contribute. He's here for the newspaper review, but I might have to engage him from now. Thank you so much for joining us. What's your take on this one?
Yeah, it's a very interesting one, because when I say that when a king has good counselors, you know, his reign will be peaceful, then it assumes that the king is a good listener.
Sure.
The king has good judgment to appoint the right people, right people there. And Balda, you touched on it. You know, one shouldn't be too sort of like thin-skinned when it comes to criticism. I remember the late Professor Lamin Sane, the Gambian professor at Harvard. He used to say that, let those who know teach those who don't. And I remember one time we quoted that, the students at school, and our teacher said to us, let those who do not know listen to those who do. So this is really what the key is. You have the two elements.
Sure.
You can only leverage, you know, the good advice if you have the right character of a leader, that character, that quality of openness to new ideas, to reason. Then you will probably have a peaceful kingdom. You'll be more inclusive.
It will be more inclusive, obviously.
Interesting. This is a very good African proverb.
It's really wide. But like I said, let's just make sure most of the time our also criticisms are constructive, and let's be good listeners as well. Mr. Mboj, sometimes I talk to people, they're like, you're not a good listener, but I'm like, I'm a good listener. There's a category of people that I get to listen to because the criticism is constructive. I'm running to Mr. Mboj, I'm running around Mr. Mboj all the time. I'm running around Adedarame every time. So there's a reason, you know, there's a reason.
Well, absolutely. And one more thing, let's understand one more thing.
Yeah.
To give criticism, that's one thing, or even advice, that's one thing. But whether I will take it, that's quite another.
Sure.
So it's all a matter of judgment. You are going to have to make your judgment in the end.
Yeah.
We all know that psychologically we have certain biases. To be quite honest with you, we tend to prefer to hear what reinforces our beliefs already. Anything that challenges it, we are so reluctant. It's extremely difficult. And so it takes a certain kind of self-awareness.
Sure.
You must really know yourself to know these pitfalls. Then perhaps you might have a strategy or two of how to deal with them.
Sure.
Exactly. It's important. So let us know what we have to do and also get good people around us, Janaba.
All right.
Yeah. So what do we have?
So we will just go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right on to the newspaper review. I already introduced Mamadou Mboj. He'll be helping us analyze some of the stories that we have on the papers. Do stay tuned.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
to build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
Light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
With ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back, viewers, from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. I'm your host, Jennifer Sonko, and joined by my amazing co-host all the time, Ibrahim Balde. So, is that Foria?
Yes, this is Foria newspaper. Let's take a look at the headlines. Study shows Gambian want perpetrators of Jammeh's regime to be tried in court.
Okay.
Bakari Bunja Dabo, Gambia for All, has not called for a grand coalition of opposition parties. Mamadou Saho, aka Dubales, passes away. Speaker Denton draft budget will not be submitted this year. Gambia condemns the coup d'etat in the Republic of Guinea. Soldiers claim that their change is not a coup d'etat, but a change for the people. Has Bakari Bunja Dabo invited PDOIS for coalition building? That's what we have on the forum.
Okay, so moving on, we have the standard here. Barrow says waste of time to challenge him. And Bibi Dabo says he has not called for a grand coalition. Also, Victim Center says NPP-APRC alliance, a betrayal of public trust. Man who threatens to assassinate Barrow appears in Turkish court. CA disheartened by Green-Grey alliance. Fonyi National Assembly member says alliance only option to bring Yaya Jammeh back. Economic soldier under close custody after deadly incident.
Okay, interesting. The Voice newspaper, Serif Kijera, APRC NPP alliance is shocking, disappointing, and despicable. 2 people killed by economic vehicle. Calls for prosecution of human rights perpetrators under Jammeh regime depends. Education system has failed, chairperson GPU awards. That's what we have on the Voice newspaper, Jan.
Okay, so moving on Foria, we have, welcome back, Momodumbuch.
Yes.
So we're heading straight on to the analysis. On Foria, we have study shows Gambians want perpetrators of Jammeh's regime to be tried in court. Is this a surprise? This is the study that has been conducted, but are the results, are they a surprise at all that the Jammeh victims want perpetrators to be taken to court and be prosecuted?
Yes, studies done by Afrobarometer.
Yeah.
Yes, it wouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah.
But it's still good to have these surveys. I like surveys.
Okay, so what's your take on this? The fact that the victims want perpetrators to be prosecuted, because the argument is that some are saying all of these people need to be prosecuted. Some are saying we should just come as a country, bring some color on the table and say, you know, we've heard stuff like that here. So trying to weigh the two, can they make that decision for victims anyway?
Both of them, none of the above.
Okay.
You can never have the color not split. That's just not going to work.
Okay.
You cannot also prosecute all of them.
Okay.
We opted for a truth commission. Truth, reparations and reconciliation, truth, reconciliation and reparations commission. That's what we opted for.
Yeah.
That means, and it's inbuilt, that some people will be given amnesty.
Sure.
We're going to have to swallow some really difficult, bitter truths. You see, we could have gone the other route of pure justice.
Okay.
Let's go for all of them, prosecute all of them. But the argument was that we also wanted to know the truth. We needed to document that. You see? So when you do that, then you will have to build in certain compromises so that witnesses would be willing to come and give testimony. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known so much that, you know, we know now. So we're going to have to swallow some very, very bitter truths, because this is the very nature of truth commissions, really.
Interesting. Well, it's not easy, especially at this trying time. You know, most people, especially when you look at the political situation in the country at the moment, maybe some of these victims are fearing certain things will happen.
No, it is obviously politically charged, but I'm not going to second guess anything. I'm not going to be cynical. This is not the time for that either, saying that, you know, perhaps the president might compromise, as it were, when it comes to the recommendations, and because of political reasons. There will always be politics around, so I will not second guess anything. I will not, as they say, cross the bridge before I get to it. We'll wait until the report is submitted. We see what the president does, and on the basis of that, we engage.
Yeah,
Okay,
so looking forward to that. Moving on, we also have Gambia condemns the coup d'etat in the Republic of Guinea. Yesterday we discussed this. We just touched the surface in relation to coup d'etat becoming the narrative in Africa, and it's normalized at some point, because I've seen a lot of Africans go on social media to say that they are trying to applaud some of these military individuals that led the takeover. So is that a good sign coming from Africans, in as much as Alpha Condé to them is a dictator, but is that the way to remove dictators at the end of the day, in as much as they also talked about the fact that most of the elections were allegedly rigged?
With some dictators, I'm afraid to say, possibly that's the way to get rid of them. We have, I'm a political realist. You may face certain conditions. Look at Alpha Condé. I'm 80 years old and stuff like that, still trying to hang on to power. So you have sort of this political culture, as it were, that encourages coups d'etat. Unfortunately, they're in a feedback relationship. So unfortunately, and normally this is what happens. Even remember 1994, people embraced yeah, Jamie, even though before they were the very ones who were going to vote for Jawara. So you will get these things. When
but
people
where
are
is our democracy
economically...
then? Where is the democracy at the end of the day? Because
let's be careful with this democracy thing.
Okay, make us understand.
Democracy is just, these are broad principles of how governance should be done and that sort of thing. But when it comes to the ground, culturally, people are different. That is why American democracy is different from British democracy. When they have a presidential 2-term limit, Britain have a parliamentary no-term limits. So you see, democracy, and go to Australia, for instance, and see how they do their democracy. So these are general principles of political decision-making. How they play out in each society, in each culture, will be different depending on the people, depending on initial conditions.
But coup d'etat does not have to do anything with how democracy works. There's no connection there.
But this is what I mean. The structures are not democratic themselves. There is veneer of democracy. We talk about it, we have all the systems in there, but the people who work in these systems are they're quite different. We have a hybrid, that's what they call a hybrid system.
But Mr. Butch, I'm afraid if we're supposed to go with this ideology you're talking about, we might be lost at some point. That's what I think.
No, but this is the problem. This is not an ideology. What I'm doing is not an ideology. It's not an ideology.
Explanation then.
Perhaps I'll take it. An ideology means a sort of a body. It's a schematic. It is these ideas that embed schemes of value. That is what an ideology is.
Okay, but then let's say explanation.
I don't have any such thing.
Mr. Mboy, so from what you're saying, democracy is sort of a shirt that people wear in Africa, but internally, people are not abiding by the rules of democracy.
Thank you. So it hasn't quite penetrated. To my mind, democracy is really an attitude towards life. That's why in the West it took a long time, as it were. You need educated population, maybe 80–90% of people must be educated and stuff like that. That's how democracy works. It works on certain assumptions that when I educate my people and I give them choices, they will take the rational decision. It makes so many assumptions. We just do not see it here. That is why it's
yeah,
not working.
we
are working
I
towards
wanted
that.
you to look at this. I mean, when Doumbouya seized power, most Guineans, you know, came out of the street to celebrate, to show their appreciation. Don't you think tribal politics is working in Guinea? Because most people want the Selu Daleng guy, as it is mentioned in their previous election that the elections were rigged by Alpha Condé. Don't you think tribal politics is taking a toll in Africa?
What do you mean it's taking a toll? I mean, of course, we know that ethnicity is part of our politics. That one we can never discount that. What specifically is happening in Guinea, I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to go into the details because I do not have the facts so far. Whether there's tribal politics behind this coup, I really do not know. Okay, but when it comes to my ethnic identity, that determines to a lot of people, many studies have shown this, it determines the party or the person I'm going to vote for. We have to be honest with these things. This is what I mean by democracy assumes highly educated, and we've moved away from this ethnic backgrounds. So that's why when I talked about choices, you can imagine manifestos as choices. I've got this party with this manifesto, I've got another party with that manifesto. I read them, use my reason, and rationally come to a decision. These are the assumptions of democracy. When you don't have that, forget it. It's a rule of the mob, maybe.
But Mr. Boj, do you also agree that when it comes to coup d'etat in Africa, at some point it's some form of repetition of what has already been there? Because we are not sure if Doumbouya is going to go back to the barracks. We don't have any assurance in relation to that as well.
Yes, humans are quite repetitive in what we do. We are creatures of habit. Oh, absolutely. We know that they are not the solution. That much, I think, it has been established that these things can never be the solution to our political problems. But it's just that our society, we're evolving towards sort of being a nation. I agree here with Wole Soyinka. We haven't quite formed a sense of nationhood. We are in the process of forming a sense of nationhood. Right now, really, most of us, we see ourselves as Wolof, Mandinka, and all the rest of it. That sense of Gambianness is yet to emerge. And it's really very, very difficult. So when I say, when I go to England, in England, what do they speak English? When you come to Gambia, in Gambia, what do they speak? Wolof, Mandinka, Fula. There's no one language representing Gambia. So we have to rely on the colonial tongue. So this is still a colonial state, mind you.
With English as our official language.
And then Gambians taking over as the colonialist. Let's be honest. I mean, so many reports have said that all over Africa in many ways. It's still the colonial state. That is why we're still suffering. That is why it's still extractive. Do you see how when we go into government, we just take? It's extractive. I want to preserve myself. There are two qualities they tell you, two aspects. That self-preservation in power and being extractive. Just taking, just taking, just taking. It's a colonial state. So unless we move away from that mentality, we'll just be mourning, crying, whinging. We'll be in trouble for a long time.
But you think we'll move from that mentality soon? Jenna,
but anyway, I must say, with Mr. Mboj said at some point, coup d'etat can be an option. But I don't think a lot of people might really agree with this at some point to say it can be an option in certain... And you agreed with the fact that there can be some form of repetition because human beings are repetitive. So at the end of the day, what's the essence of staging a coup if the same thing is going to repeat itself?
What we're saying that it's not an option. When I say certain things, it doesn't mean that I endorse it.
Okay.
One is merely looking at the objective facts. That is why they've been happening since we had independence all over the continent. One is just looking at the objective facts. There are certain conditions that encourage this sort of political reaction.
Sure.
One is just saying it in that sense. It's not that I endorse it.
Okay.
God, I'm a liberal. I love my freedom too much. And
I
we know what
so
these people are like.
I thought
but this is it. Don't get too attached to facts. When you're analyzing, it's not about what you want or what you don't want. It's just what is.
Yeah, it is what
Absolutely.
it is.
Yeah,
anyway, but I thought as much with the
this
explanation.
story.
So moving on, let's come back to Gambia. That was a story beyond our border. So let's take a look at Speaker Denton. Draft budget will not be submitted this year. Will not be submitted this year. We agree with that. Let's just take a look at budget. You know, if we're drafting the new budget for 2022, what are you looking forward to? Because there has been a lot of debate in relation to certain areas that Gambians believe should probably get more money, like the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Agriculture, Health, and all of these things. So what are you looking forward to?
How do we stimulate the economy? That's really our primary concern right now. And the idea that, of course, all interested parties, would want their sector to have more money. But again, the minister and people who are going to draft these things, with them, they have to look at the objective facts. There are certain ways that you must write your budget, you must prepare your budget. So there are certain protocols, certain conventions that we are not privy to. How much money do we have? We know that the economy is contracting. It has actually contracted from what I've read to what, minus 1.5%, when the forecast was about 6%. So we are in dire straits in many ways. So it will be interesting to see what the minister does. I'm not sure whether it is for me to come and tell him they should have more money, that should have more money, all of these things. One can understand, that's why I call it the vested interest. Interested parties would obviously want their sector to have more money.
Sure.
but I am not in any of these sectors, so I will listen, I will look at what the minister does.
But we can see that with the Ministry of Defense, the argument was that the Ministry of Defense was allocated a lot. Why is that? What is the relevance? Why the need, for Gambia?
Well, there's a lot to spend on. We haven't done the reforms yet.
Okay.
So maybe certain sectors are bloated. You need more money to spend on them. Okay. Until we do our reforms, we will possibly be spending on them a lot.
All right, so
let's wait for that day.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to what the 2022 budget will entail. Thank you so much, Mamadou Mbodj, for joining us on the Newspaper Review. We will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right on to the sports update. Mamadou Mbodj with Coach Mane. Do stay tuned.
Want more in your bundle? At QCell, the biggest, fastest, and most reliable mobile operator, we've got you covered with Sunyu Bundle. With Sunyu Bundle, dial *303# and get the bundle of your choice. Sunyu Bundle, affordable, fast, and reliable. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
The best product in town is back. QCell's MiFi router. Get the best MiFi in the country for just $2,800 and connect up to 15 users with 4G internet speeds and a long-lasting battery life. So rush now to any of our customer care locations and get the best for less while stocks last. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss, the Gambia's quality network. We innovate, others follow.
Your favorite mobile service has done it again. Now, you can buy cash power with your Q Money account, free of charge. Yes, you heard me right. For free! Nothing is cheaper than free. So start buying your cash power from the comfort of your homes with unbeatable services Q Money has to offer. With Q Money, life is easy. Visit your nearest Q Money agent to cash in or call customer care on 133 for more information. Don't forget to wash your hands with soap after handling cash. Stay home, stay clean, stay safe. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Q Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
back, viewers, from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. Like I mentioned before we went for the break, we'll be heading right on to the sports update, and we are joined by Modum Boj, and is about to have a conversation with Coach Mane. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
From a guest to a host at some point.
Host, yeah.
Absolutely, and since we're going to talk about the maiden tournament,
Yes.
this is my maiden, as it were, presentation of a sports program.
All right. Should be interesting.
And be careful, it's not viewpoint.
QCell Youth Tournament kicked off on Friday at the Q City Sports Complex. Let's just take a look at this short clip.
With the growing need to develop grassroots football, the QCell-sponsored Youth Cup, a tournament for football academies, got underway at the Q City football field. During the opening ceremony, Mohamed Jah, chairman of the Q Group, says the competition will give young players the opportunity to showcase their talents. He added that the players in the competition could be scouted for junior national team categories, such as the under-17s and the under-20s, to avoid age cheating in football.
We believe that if we come out of here, we should be able to play under 20 of Gambia with the right ages. It is very shameful for us to take our boys to a tournament. Halfway through the tournament, we are disqualified because we are overage. I think that is very embarrassing as a nation, and we want to stop that. You know, we believe that we should register the correct ages of our players. If the people in the West, in Germany, in the US, they can register the correct ages, why can't we? I believe we Africans are stronger. You know, we should be able to have, you know, the right age, and we win the tournaments. So we have to start it right from here. And you can see you are privileged to play on one of the best pitches in this country.
Veteran Gambian football commentator and football encyclopedia Tijan Masane Sise, who attended the event, hailed the Q Group chairman for staging such a competition for these young players.
The Speaker of the British Parliament once said, "History is a part left by the past. Make no mistake, you have cemented yourself in that part." I want to thank you profoundly on behalf of a grateful nation and a grateful people for what you do for our youth. We can only build Gambia through the future, and nobody does it like you. So like the Wolof say, I'll say Gachangalama.
Football coaches whose teams are taking part in the competition also hailed the event, while former Gambian international Tijan Jete, who is now a football ambassador, says the tournament will help the drive to develop football in the country.
And this is very, very important for our sports development. And we hope that this will continue every year, and it will add a very great value to the Gambian youth.
On the pitch, there were two exciting matches. In a ruthless display of exciting attacking football, Q City FC thrashed Danso FC 8-0, with Mohamed Kinte scoring a hat-trick in a dominant performance in the under-15 category. In the second match of the tournament, Q City FC's under-18 faced with Danso FC, the host winning 2-0 with both goals scored in the first half. Danso FC came close to scoring twice in the first 5 minutes, but wasted their chances. These two games have created excitement and anticipation for the matches scheduled for Saturday and Sunday. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Yes, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. So interesting there. The CEO of QCell touched on it. The maiden tournament. Why? Just go into that a bit more.
Actually, every summer holiday we usually organize camp at the Q City. We have a resident hotel there. And this year we were thinking of traveling to Jambar to expose the kid. But because of the COVID, that impact on sports, so we couldn't. So he came up with the idea, the kids need to compete. So initially we thought about 15 teams, but because now the schools will be opening soon, so we thought of reducing to 8 teams into groups of 2, 4 in each of the groups. We did have some conditions. We did not meet all of them, though we were challenged. That was the age criteria of the players. And then we insisted that there would be BAF certificate provided before they could play. If the BAF certificates were not provided, then probably we'll be looking at their proof of school. And we'll look at the grade, and then we just give a cap of the player whether he's qualified. We have a lot of challenges. This is a maiden tournament. So we will overlook those things. Probably next year we'll make sure we start early and make sure all the BAF certificates are intact before the tournament start. Probably you'll be seeing some players who you will assume that they are overage, but most of the players, their birth certificate were doctored. But we will work that through our second stage. About the tournament, competition is very vital for the players' development, actually, because if you look at the four phases, the four corners of the player development, you look at the physical, the technical, you look at the psychological, particularly the psychological aspect of it. People may not understand, but the game helps the kids to overcome depression. And then they can be motivated, and they can be street smart too, because socially they have a lot of interactions with their peers. So the tournament has a lot of reasons why it's been organized. QCD have one of the most fabulous environment to accommodate all these things, and then we have the capacity to recognize players' performance, but also to help the youth to interact. It's a smart thing. Why? But these kids will grow together. The under 10 here or the under 10 in China are the same. So what you do, you just eradicate the complexity, because if you do not play with anybody, for the first time you play with that person, that's a complacency. But when you have played with him and you saw him when you all grew, then you would have known who the person is. That is a smarter way of developing the game.
Yes, it seems you don't just have a wonderful complex, you also develop their ruthless winning machine, winning their 8-0, as it were. But I wonder here, do you have other inter-academy competitions such as this one, or is this the first of its kind?
Right. West Coast does have inter-academy, and Banjul also have under 15 tournament. I think people need to understand the result, the qualification of the national team at the moment has to do with the many years that the academies were producing these players at their own level. Although we do not have much of a proper academy across the country, but we have training centers. And the training centers need to be helped. Because of these training centers, they taught them with the ABC of the game, and they develop with it and grow with it. When you get it right, at the bottom, it cascades through the ranks. And I think that has showcased. So we can have more better players in the future. The quality pool of players will be greater, and then coaches will find it very interesting who to select for them to participate.
So for how long with this tournament?
It's a 4-week tournament, actually, because we are playing only on Fridays. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have under 15, we have under 18. The under 15 will play 3:03 or 3:30, and then the under 18 will play the second game. And we have the teams, actually, you have QCD, you have Quantum FC, you have Hans FC, you have Golden Youth Football Academy, you have Ibotown Football Academy, you have Danso, you have Medina. Medina, actually, they are new kids on the block, because they are housed at, when you go into the airport on your left, it's a very good complex, actually. I think that is very good for football development. Actually, other academies are doing very well, but haven't got the resources to resuscitate their growth in the game. But that's a step in the right direction.
That's it. So spectators, can we come and watch?
Well, actually, the COD said that the tournament is free. Anybody can come and watch. We were constrained in the first week with the spectators, even though in the first game all the teams were there, and we have seen across the weekend too, people came to watch. But if they watch it on TV now, today, they will know there's something happening at the QCD. We hope they will come in, because it's free entrance. You understand? But though mask is compulsory when you're coming into QCD.
You have to wear your mask. Obviously, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Okay, so would it be, just last question, so do I take it that perhaps from now on it will be a yearly thing?
Right, That's what we want. That's the intention of the tournament. The CEO said it's going to be an annual event, and every year we will increase the number of the teams, and in every year we will be more administrative bound to make sure we check, so that best practice is always one of the biggest factors that you can do in football. If Senegal can eat the same food and they have the same name, the same parents, we share the same thing, and they qualify, they can produce 3 national teams at any time, at any point in time. Why can't we? Although we are constrained with population, but I think we should be able to do better to qualify like they qualify in the World Cup. And I think now we qualify in the Cup of Nations. That will help. It will attract international investors to come and at least put up some structures here and take our players over, and that was economic impact on the country.
You are absolutely correct. I would say that we had a biri before they did, even though they're much bigger.
Yes, I wanted to ask that question. Is it going to be an annual thing? Mr. Mane, don't you think it's important for you also to be looking around the provinces, because we have young, talented footballers there. So what are you doing in that?
Mr. Ba is from the province.
Yes,
absolutely. And you'll be surprised, I hail from the provinces. You'll find out, if you look at the Q City, you have one player from Banjul, two players from Serekunda. The rest of them are from the suburbs.
All right, that's good.
Tujerem, Burfoot, Madiana, Lamen, you can't believe it. And I'll tell you one thing, there are players, certain tribes are coming up. I don't want to name a tribe. Okay. They don't showcase often time in the game in the country. But in the next 5-6 years, you'll see certain tribes that will really showcase and become stars of the national team.
And also, Mr. Mane, what is the price for this tournament? Because if the price is big, I might get into football suddenly. I'm thinking of that, to be honest. What is the price at stake?
Why not? If the price is
good, big, I can hit the pitch.
Can I keep the price? Because it looks like the CEO is very excited, because he has now increased the price for the senior team, equal price for the junior team. We had a giant trophy for the winners. We have the most disciplined team, which is very important, and that is determined by the referees, because the number of red cards, the number of yellow cards that you have had will determine the team of the this most disciplined team. We have it there to encourage team to be really disciplined and to be on time when they come. We also have a trophy for the best player, and we have a trophy for the leading goal scorer, because every game has to at least end up in a way whereby they say there's a winner, and goals are always exciting. And we have silver, bronze, gold medals for the whole teams, the 3 teams that are 4th, 2nd, 3rd. The prizes as it stands for now, which the CEO said that he can beef it up. It's 50,000 for the winners, and 35,000 for the 4th runners-up, 25,000 for the 2nd runners-up. But that depends, and the same prizes goes for the under 15. But he said that's for the start. And you never know, Mohamed, he can always surprise if the tournament goes very well.
Absolutely, that's absolutely true. But there was one thing that I just wanted us to talk on. With these prices and the money, you were a footballer. I watched you so many times back in the 80s and the like. What was the bigger motivation? Was it the money or the fact that I've won, I've got this trophy?
You are talking about 2 generations. Actually,
absolutely.
During our time, Biri will tell you that, Seusar will tell you that, Pamunda, a lot of these people will tell you that. They have given it all. What is all? They wanted to be in that national T-shirt or shirt. At our time, the opportunities haven't been like they are at now. And maybe we would have gone back and we would have gone and come and build and establish a lot of football schools. But unfortunately, that's not the case. The kids at the moment, they're in the digital world. They have got everything available to them. You can sit on your TV, learn how to play and all those things. But our time was pride. Their time is mostly return on investment. That's a commercial.
Oh, that's that, yeah. Everything has been commercialized. That love, that patriotism, that shirt, when you wear it, you want to give your heart out.
Don't get me wrong, there are people among them who
are like that.
Because what happens first, your primary thing is to play overseas, to play in a better league team in Europe or somewhere else. When you get that, that's the first thing. The second thing is you want to be in the national team. So it's before you want to play for the national team and probably have an opportunity to play Europe. But now you want to play in Europe and then have a call up to the national team.
Thank you very much there, Coach. That was an interesting answer there.
So Coach, I might join this competition because $50,000 and 25 is looking good for me.
That is for a start.
And that is just for a start.
That's a lot of money.
I might join this.
50,000.
I'm looking forward to
50,000.
50,000.
It's a lot of money.
Anyway, all right. Thank you so much, Coach and Mr. Moj. We will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right on to social issues. We're joined by the PRO of the Fire and Rescue Services right here. Do stay tuned.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Want more in your bundle? At QCell, the biggest, fastest, and most reliable mobile operator, we've got you covered with Sunyu Bundle. With Sunyu Bundle, dial *303# and get the bundle of your choice. Sunyu Bundle, affordable, fast, and reliable. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
Hello there, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and we are heading right on to our social issues segment. We're joined by the PRO of the Fire and Rescue Service, Pate Jiba. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Jiba, and we'll be discussing fire safety in our homes, office and market. So I think to start with, it is important for us to establish what are some of the causes of fire, first of all, because it's safety in our homes, in our offices, in our markets. So it is important first to try to establish where the problem is. So I know you've done several research in relation to what have been the usual causes of fire, although citizens have been blaming it on certain things, but I just want to hear it from you. With the research that you've conducted, what is the conclusion in relation to what causes fire in our homes, offices and markets?
Thank you very much. I am glad to be invited to the QTV this morning. I think this program is called QTV this morning.
Yes.
Anyway, it's just wonderful. Okay, the fire services in the Gambia are doing a very important job for the people. Notwithstandingly, it is a job that is very difficult because it is characterized by a lot of problems, including lives that are lost, damage to property, some kind of disappearances, you know. Sometimes people get burnt and you can never recover anything. So all that is like traumatizing, you know. And when we fight a fire, we normally do a form of an investigation to come to a conclusion. Because if we do not know the cause of a problem, we can never get to the remedy to the problem. Like I said now, anytime we fight a fire, we investigate. And that investigation is sort of trying to find out the causes. But in the Gambia, the causes of fires could be divided into two. Those that are in the provincial areas and those causes that are in the urban areas. That used to be there to say that fires in the provinces are merely caused by X, while those in the urban areas are caused by this. Okay, but notwithstandingly, we will still continue to break it down. So that we will better understand, because there is that kind of little differences
between the courses.
Yeah, that is it. Okay. Normally here, we suffer a great deal of electrical fires in the Combo areas. Most of the time, we are called upon to fight the fire. The cause of the fire, when we investigate, we realize that electrical cables broken down, you know, the meter failed to operate and somebody abused it here and there, overloading of circuits and stuff like that. So put together is like electrical short circuits.
In the urban areas.
In the urban
area. So what about in the rural?
Yeah, we'll get to that gradually, right?
Okay. No, due to time constraints, obviously, because there are a lot of things that we want to establish before you leave.
Yeah, I understand your point.
Yes.
Okay, 60% of our fires in the urban area are electrical fires. When you go to the rural areas, you will find a lot of wetland fires. And these wetland fires are in the form of bush fires and stuff like that. And bush fires are caused by something. And what causes them probably could be related to, according to research, people going out there to indiscriminately use fire without any control. You know, like clearing their areas, maybe hunting for other wild animals, and also, you know, maybe issues related to that. You know, children playing with the matches in the environment. So all that causes bush fires in the provincial areas.
Yes, let's take a look at fire service responding to firefighting. Most people have put a lot of blames on the fire service. Whenever there is fire, people tend to blame fire service for not responding quickly, and at the same time fighting the fire to expectation.
Yeah, I know those are things that allegations most of the time, and people have the right to allege us, but we can also come and tell people where the reality is, because we as a people need to understand. He who understands can sometimes be able to do something right, but if he doesn't, you know, it's a problem. When there is a fire, we expect to receive a call. And if the call doesn't come at the right time, the chances of us reporting to that fire or attacking that fire late are high. So that is one thing. And the other thing is some people don't just know the official numbers or the emergency number of the fire service. If you test it, you can find out that some people will tell you 112, some people will tell you 133. You know, the one who used to go on TV, the street talk show, there was a time it was tested.
That's
but
Korka.
Only Korka. Only few are able to understand just the three numbers, 118. Many people do not understand. So we compare that to the 7-digit numbers that we have in each of the fire stations. If you do not know 118, it will be difficult for you to know every 7-digit number in every fire station. So those are things. And the other thing is the blame will all come to us. I know that, and we take it. We enjoy this kind of things because we serving the people. You cannot say you serve them, and you know, human beings are not just easy to be taken care of. No matter what you do, they will still say he need to improve. And of course, there is always room for improvement. And we also want to be informed as to how to do it better, because we are not magicians, you know. And the thing is, the next thing is, they will fight the fire, right?
Well, Mr.
They will fight the fire.
Piero said they are not magicians, but here we expect you to be magicians, because
in this aspect, right? Because they have the technical know-how anyway.
Being technical minded and being a magician are two different things. You know, a magician can be here and tell you what is in the other side of the room. You know, we use knowledge and expertise to do that work. And you fight a fire, and you think you can extinguish the fire before we come. Sometimes it's difficult to do that. And that is what sometimes leads to a loss of life and a lot of other things. Because they will say, okay, let's do something like they call it Njelbunjaka. We try to take care of this. And technically, that's what we even tell people. Do not find fire in your house and jump up and start calling the fire department without doing something. You know, what you should do first, engage the fire at its primary, in fact, at its nursery level. You know, engage the fire. Do something. Probably you can have a fire extinguisher. And you find out in this country, so many homes do not have one. And if you go to some offices, they will tell you, we just see this thing here like a marble, but we don't even know how to use these things. And I don't just think I hope the QTV do not look like that. You guys need to understand every fire extinguisher.
I can use the fire extinguisher.
But the question is, are you doing any sensitization programs whereby you demonstrate how a fire extinguisher can be used as well?
Yeah.
Are you doing that? Because that is kind of...
Yeah. If I was informed clearly, for example, in fact, the guy told me, but maybe time did not permit me. I must not say I wasn't informed. I would have brought in a video and share it with you. But, you know, probably we'll be having this kind of things time in, time out.
Yes,
And just to let you know that we have any event that we cover, any sensitization that we do with the school children, with institutions, during our open day celebrations, you know, we celebrate the fire department's existence every 1 year. And we invite everybody, including the QTV. And these are things that we keep in our archives. So we can always show it to you.
Okay, Mr. Jiba, I'm just pleading with our technicians and our producers there. If we can have a fire extinguisher here, if it is possible, we would want Mr. Jiba to demonstrate how it is used. So please, control room, can you please help us with a fire extinguisher? So upstairs, and
I think we have one
here. And it's also an opportunity for us to prove to Mr. Jiba that we have fire extinguisher
it's
here.
Just a matter of giving up. Jibril, you can bring it. Just
thank you so much. That's our fire extinguisher there.
My able producer.
In fact, Mr. Francis asked me to do that, to bring one. I told him, when I come, we can use your own.
And then learn.
Yeah.
So I think it is important for us to also, you know, take this as an opportunity to know how it's done.
Yeah, that is it. That is it.
So this is it.
That's it. So as you can see, this is a fire extinguisher, first-hand appliance, fire-hand appliance. This in itself contains a chemical they call dry powder. You know, dry powder is, a firefighting agent. But inside this container, the container is called a canister. Inside this container, you don't just have the powder alone. You have both air and powder. The function of the air right inside the canister is to enable the powder to get propelled outside. It's a pressurized cylinder. That's why we must not also joke with this. This could be an explosive, right? Because any pressurized container has an explosive characteristics, and you have to be very mindful. So once you got this for the purpose of instructions, because we don't have time, you've already sounded that. I would have gone into it and make a lot of elaboration for better understanding, because the device needs to be understood before you use it. Before you use it. But here I'm gonna take you straight to how to use it. Good. This red thing here is called the safety catch. And this one here is called the safety pin, and this is the handle, and that is the trigger, and this one is the hose. Here is the nozzle. That is it. You just need to know the basic tips, because these are the things that you're going to use. You have to handle grip the handle. You have to strike the trigger. Before doing that, you have to remove the safety catch. The safety catch is what hold the pin. Because otherwise, if you find an extinguisher that doesn't have this component, do not use it. Even if it is showing you green at the gauge, don't use it. It is like, because we say extinguishers must be found virgin. So once you find this thing off or that thing off, don't just use the extinguisher. Leave it as it is and look for another one. So what you do is get this out, that is the safety catch, and then remove the safety pin at your own time. No need to panic. That is when someone is calling the fire department, right? Because no fire will start now within fragment of a second and become a massive inferno. Never. It doesn't happen like that. It comes gradually. It comes gradually. So while it is coming gradually, we are yelling and jumping and howling and holding our heads and calling for help, while, you know, it is becoming worse. So by the time it is big, we want to come and do some work when it is already late. So once it is small, you just grab an extinguisher. You know, walk comfortably, as if you are walking towards your friend. Remove this thing out, that is the safety catch. The red. First, it's very not difficult to peel off. You know, some will have it in different formation. You know, this one is like inserted right in like a needle. So just take it off. Sometimes there's a little belt around the whole thing. Just remove it. It's called, no matter how it looks like, it is still called a safety catch, and just to peel it off. Once you peel it off, then you just get hooked, remove this. So you can see the married, the relationship will now be separated. You know, this pin is the one that joins the trigger and the handle together. And there is a pin that busts inside to create an opening under.
Yeah,
you see the point.
Yeah.
So that is what pins right inside so that air can come out. So when air come out, there is a siphon right inside. That is a tube that will pull up the agent and to the fire.
Mr. Piero, what does the green indicate?
Green mean good. It's good.
Okay.
Pressure.
Okay.
Air inside and everything is in order. That is it. So all you need to do is come to a distance. You don't need to know, you don't need to ask me how many meters away from the fire that you have to be or that you have to position yourself. It is common sense. You know this fire is maybe at a meter, 2 meters away from you, and if you introduce your media means the one inside.
Yeah.
You know, when we normally say media, some people start asking us, oh, is it the TV you're talking about or the radio? Nope.
Okay.
Media in the fire service terminology is the agent inside.
Okay.
Chemical inside, whether it is water, it is dry powder, it is whatever.
It's called media.
It's called media.
But media is not
media is
TV and radio. We have media in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you just got to, you have to come close, you get the distance on your own, and handle the nozzle at the tip. Don't handle it here. If you handle it here, because there is air inside, this will flip over your face and you have a beautiful face.
Okay.
Because this is dry powder and it's like
makeup.
You know, makeup.
Yeah.
You know. So you just have to come very close to it.
Yeah.
And then press.
Okay.
The trigger is right on top. And press the trigger over the handle, and you will see something.
Okay. So, Mr. Jiba, I just want to know if I got the explanation right. Okay. Let's say there's a fire happening now. The first thing that I need to do is to pull off the red.
The red.
Right? So you can use it.
The red is called
the safety catch.
The catch.
The safety catch.
Yes.
But for some of you who cannot remember safety catch, red. The color is red.
It could be also different color.
It can be different color, but it's a color.
Yeah.
Put it at the back of your mind. Pull that first, and then
remove
the
pin,
safety pin. And then I won't hold it this way, but I'll hold it this way, and then I'll press. And I have to leave a distance.
Yes,
got it right?
And if you press, not just to press at one place, you have to aim the base of the fire. You know, fire has a heart.
Okay.
You know, you have to target the heart of the fire. The flame is not what you are interested in.
Okay.
The flame is probably the byproduct of what has burned. In firemanship, the material burning is called the fire.
Okay.
Right? This table is the fire.
Yeah.
I am the fire. My cloth is the fire, and everything around here is the fire. But when you see the flame, some people tend to extinguish the flame. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
You have to extinguish the fire, not the flame.
The source where it is originating.
That's where they call the heart of the fire. So you firefighter, you have to know where the source of the fire is, where the fire is actually, the material, because this thing, the flames are coming out from something, you know, and that something is what you need to fight so that you can, you know, create that kind of, neutralize the thing. And when you handle, you have to squeeze and sweep. Squeeze here, and then you sweep upwards and sidewards. Okay. You know, just to be able to have a 360-degree control.
Mr. Piero, don't you think it's important for every home to have this?
It is. It is obviously very important and key. That's why I said during my introduction that we must have this thing in every home, and regardless of offices, right? Because we need this. You know, you can see the rate at which fires are occurring in this country. It's so unprecedented, and you can see the fireman is suffering. And if you want to help us, it's by having this kind of materials in your houses. While you are calling us, somebody can be taxed to call. In fact, every home needs to prepare a fireman scenario.
Yes,
you know?
And I think we have few companies in the Gambia currently who are selling fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
Yes, we have few companies. I see advertisements sometimes online
in
relation to these things. I've even seen that some of these fire extinguisher companies are owned by Gambians.
Yep.
So I know you cannot tell me a location specifically, but then we have them around. Let's put that. Let's just know it's in Gambia.
Exactly.
That's true.
Mr. Piero, let's highlight.
And one thing I just want to, before we highlight, when you look at the there is something under. This thing is done not by the manufacturer, but by the agents. The agent knows when he bought this and the day he is giving it to you. So he has to label it. The labeling means it should serve you for a particular number of months. Therefore, it needs to be reserviced. Otherwise, the powder inside will get cake, and it cannot get out because this thing is too narrow for a cakey substance to run through to flow through the pipe. So you have to have maybe I'm recommending, if there is no, to have a safety department or a safety unit or whatever you may call it within the facility. It will help. Otherwise, what you will end up doing is you will procure these, get them, connect them to areas that are not strategic. And we know extinguisher to be risk associated.
It is.
You cannot, this is dry powder. You cannot carry a dry powder to a place where it is not supposed to be. Otherwise, it is going like in the server room. If you take a dry powder to the server room, what will end up happening is if there is any fire in the server room, you lose everything because the product inside here, you will change the machines to, it's powder.
So it can destroy everything. Just quickly, is there any, difference when it comes to fire extinguishers?
Yes.
Some are meant for some.
That's what exactly I'm saying. That's why I said they are supposed to be associated to the risks. Here you're looking at the studio here. Yeah, but I'm not here as a consultant, actually. I'm just here to give you some basic tips. Looking at the studio is made up of a particular class of fire. We have class A, class B, class C, class D. Sometimes people say class E, but class E is just electrical fire. It doesn't constitute a perfect fire. When electricity starts fire, you get rid of the electricity and something else will be involved. Not the electricity again. But we still have to put it in our minds. So,
Mr. Jiba, due to time constraints, we have a lot of questions. Just quickly, I'm going to take you back a little bit. You did mention in the beginning that most of the problems in the urban areas has to do with electricity, right? So sometimes victims blame NAWEC. You see, sometimes NAWEC also, or fire service says it is based on how they electrify their compounds. So is there some sort of collaboration with NAWEC and the fire service in relation to this? Considering the fact that most of the causes are electricity.
We have an operational relationship.
A
tactical relationship characterized by an operational procedure. We have their protocols available with us. And probably we are the only institution that can call them right away and tell them, get rid of electricity supply around this corner. And that is going to be within seconds. They will do that because they know we can never ever tell them to switch off Bakote, the whole of Bakote,
for no reason.
So that is a tactical relationship and is working very fine. That is it. And beyond that, they do what they do, and we do what we do.
And quickly.
Yes, let's take a look at human activity towards fire. Sometimes the Gambia Fire Service complain about unable to access other places, certain places. Maybe your vehicle cannot access these places due to the roads, the nature of the roads.
That is it. That is factors hindering our operations. Our effectiveness in service delivery. We have a lot of factors that probably we may not be able to exhaust today here. Because every day a new factor is coming up for your information. Every day it's like we're going into another factor that has never been there. The bad road network, the road bumps, you know them.
Yes, now we have a lot of them.
Bumps.
Speed bumps, right. And it is therefore important to get us informed before you erect them. And unfortunately, the fire department is never informed. We only see them there, and it causes some accidents.
And do you remember the PRO of the Gambia Police Force? He was here the other day. He said certain speed bumps are there. They are not aware. Some people just put them.
And as well as ourselves, we are not aware. In fact, we are not even informed. Probably the police is at some point informed about them, but not us. And we use big trucks. And these trucks are very high-speed trucks, and they are always running towards saving lives. So it is at night sometimes, and these things are not painted. They need to put some kind of glittering stuff, visibility. but unfortunately it is not, and it leads to a lot of damage of our buildings and accidents and so on and so forth. So, but those are factors, and the roads in some of our towns here, the roads are very narrow.
Okay.
These are long vehicles, these are trucks. That's why normally they call them fire trucks. Some people call them fire engines, some people call them fire tenders, but they are trucks. Okay. So going in and out is normally a problem for them. And sometimes we are called upon to fight a fire, and we say we are not coming. And they will start stoning, and you start insulting the social media. We call them, they don't come. How can we go there?
You cannot go there.
Yeah.
It's important
again,
for us to clarify,
Jiba,
because access becomes a problem if you have those.
Why, Ibrahim, you talk to people as well, they tell you, fire service, then they them like empty tank. I just want you to explain that, because they fire service came over, but they came with an empty tank saying they don't have water, they have to go back. So is that a challenge, or is that an allegation? Yeah, it is. It is an allegation. You know, the fire tender contains like 2,000 liters. Okay. That is too small. Maybe by pronunciation is big to somebody who doesn't know. But the pump we have at the rear, which is fitted with a propelling machine, is too fast. You know, its revolution is like 4,000 or 4,500 RPM per minute, meaning it can revolve 4,500 times every single minute. Okay. So gauge the speed at which this propeller, the impeller, will be revolving. And the tank. Yeah, and the more it revolves, the more it absorbs water and delivers. So sometimes it takes us 2 minutes or 3 minutes to exhaust that 2,000 liters. 2 minutes or 3 minutes to exhaust an entire 2,000 liters of water. So this is why you can see the firefighter running helter-skelter. Sometimes you think, like if you are in your house, how many minutes will it take you to walk from your house to the fire scene? And you just saw the fire engine pass now, within 2 minutes it's gone again. Oh, God, they don't take water. You can see it. This is clear manifestation. It's even no. You see, I just left my house. Empty tank. They go with empty. How can even the fire? Maybe you can schedule another program here where I'll bring all those footages from our end, where I will show you even the vehicles that have been parked for the last 10 years are still containing water. So how comes do you think we will allow a vehicle that is going to save a life to be running just like, you know, just like that in the street without water? Is there not a possibility or a way at least to maybe get trucks that have bigger tanks? Yeah, we have a bouncer that is bound. The fire, they call it a water bouncer, is already on its way to the Gambia, and it contains, you know, a lot of. It can carry a lot of water, but it is by donation. You know, for your information, the vehicles that we use are donated by our Avon counterparts. You know, this is a relationship we created some 30 years ago. In fact, we are supposed to celebrate this relationship end of this month, around December, September, October or December. We have this our counterparts coming to celebrate 30 years of partnership. You know, and with that they are bringing a lot of fire engines. These fire engines are sponsored by Gambia government, bringing them. So the Avon counterpart will only give us the machines, and Gambia government will give us the money we bring them. So part of that consignment, we have a bouncer. We call it a water bouncer, and that water bouncer is like a tray. You know, it doesn't fight fire, but it can mobilize water. You can fill it with thousands and thousands of liters of water and pack it. So when there's a serious emergency, it will follow. So get connected to your appliances, and then you can continue fighting the fire until daybreak. Normally, to finish exhaust that kind of thing is not an easy stuff. And also, let's talk about capacity building quickly before we leave. You know, just take us through how exposed our firefighters are. You know, is there any training school in the Gambia or something to train firefighters?
Yeah, we have a basic training school ground, like any other training school in this country, where you can do basic fire drills. But to capacitize more and to be a better professional, you got to leave this nation and go and train outside. So it's not available in Gambia? No, like an academy, extensive training. No. We have basic firemanship, but at the end of the training, you know, like I'm telling you, we have some relationship with our Avon guys. We have a relationship with Malaysia. You know, and some other couple of other countries that can call in 2, 3, 4, 10 people to go and have some professional firemanship, aircraft firefighting, helicopter search and rescue, you know, infrastructural firefighting, and so on and so forth.
Okay, Mr. Jiba, I'm afraid that is all we have time for. Thank you so much. And from today, I know how to use a fire extinguisher.
I think it worth it.
So as long the red, it can be any color. You start with the red,
the
and you
safety
go
catch, remove the pin. Hold, how do you call that?
You hold it here.
That is the nozzle.
That's the nozzle.
Yeah, that is the nozzle.
And you spray
this
towards,
is the nozzle.
you spray towards Mr. Adit.
That is the hose.
So let's now go for a short commercial break. Thank you so much, Pata Jiba, for coming here and educating us in relation to this. We'll be right back.
PR will be inviting you.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
To build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
With ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and we are now joined by our colleague Ade Durami. We'll be having the arts every Tuesday for the first time. Looking forward to good stuff.
Looking forward to very good stuff, and as Jennifer says, our arts every Tuesday. It's actually meant to be every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
There's something called State of the Nation address happening this Thursday, so it won't be happening this Thursday, but okay. Really excited to be talking about what I'm going to be talking about today. Anybody who knows me knows I have several passions: music, sports, but probably number one is history. And you know, when I was growing up in Sierra Leone, I learned a bit about Gambian history, but when I came to the Gambia and I met with Hassam Sisse, who is Director General of the National Center for Arts and Culture, I realized I knew very little. But what was comforting was that, and I'm sorry to say this, a lot of my Gambian friends actually probably knew even less. And so Hassam has done us all a service, a huge service. He's written a couple of books, got them here. You might be able to see them on the screen at some point. And really what he's tried to do is bring to life some of the great characters from Gambia's historic past, and actually bring them to life by just doing kind of mini biographies of them, except for one. He's done a sort of more extended biography, but I'll talk about the initial one. So there are 36 people in the first one. Starts with Fenda Lawrence, who born in 1742, and hers I found particularly fascinating. So 36 people, and they're kind of over 3-4 pages. He talks about them, their history, their life, and so on. And I'll just read a bit about Fenda Lawrence because I found her a fascinating character. I mean, the fact is, this was a woman born in 1742, and it says, let me just read a bit. He says, born around 1742 to a Sarahule family that lived in the kingdom of Wuli. And she was described as a black, free woman of material substance, a considerable slave trader. Yes, a slave trader who lived in Kaur. But we talk about migration these days as if it's something that's just been invented. Check this out. She migrated to Georgia, the United States of America, in May 1772 in search of a better life. The same thing that people talk about these days. Yeah. So, you know, we didn't invent migration. We talk about irregular migration and so on. And what I found really fascinating was the fact that, you know, here she was. Her father worked in British-owned factories here in the Gambia, while her mother worked as a maid for white traders, and says she grew up in a multicultural business environment of the factories along the river. It had mulatto, European, and African populations. And that was one person. And the interesting thing is when I mentioned Fenda and other people in the book to lots of my Gambian friends, they were like, never heard of them. And so they thought, okay, well, why has Hassoum done this book? Well, let me just read what it says at the back of the book. It says, this book seeks to interpret Gambia's past through the profiles of eminent men and women whose deeds have helped shape Gambian history. This work seeks to fill the gap of biographical material in Gambian history. And you know, there's a huge gap. Anybody watching Corker Street Talk, he's embarrassed people in the streets, asking them, do you know this person, do you know that person? And, you know, I don't want to embarrass my hosts today by asking them, do you know this person?
Please don't!
But I won't.
No!
I won't.
Ibrahim, it's a no-no, right?
I just read some of the names that are featured in here, just so people get a sort of a sense of the spread of people who are covered in the books. So you've got, I already mentioned Fenda Lawrence, who I said I found quite fascinating. She lived from 1742 to 1800. Sheikh Maskar from 1827 to 1936. Some more familiar names to people, Sir John Mahoney, you had Hannah Foster, you had P.S. Njai, died in 1993. Of course, Sadauda Kaira Bajawara, right up to the number 36 of the 36 people mentioned is Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh, previous president. You have people like M.E. Jallo, Abdullah Samba. So really, really fascinating people. And, you know, as it says at the back of the book, he wanted to bring these people to life. Yeah. To people to say, you know what, there have been interesting characters in our country's history, but very few people know about them. Yeah. And why don't we know about them? Because people don't read about them, and they probably don't teach about them in the schools.
I even wanted to come to, I want to come to that point. Please come in. The reason why people are not open to these things, it's because we're not reading. I think now people are not reading anymore. I can remember when I was growing up as a small boy, my dad used to read a lot of novels. But to me, I was thinking he was just wasting his time reading those books.
But you know, I'm glad you said that, because for me, this is something I get very angry about. The fact is, for somebody of my age, we grew up, we had to visit 3, 4, 5 libraries to read.
Sure.
You can have your library on your phone.
Now.
On your laptop. On your desktop computer. You can have 1,000 libraries. Why are people not reading?
Mr. Ade, now we have our WhatsApp and Facebook on our phones.
And so, you know, so this is what you have. So the books, so the one is called Patriots, Profiles of Eminent Gambians, is by Hassoum Ceesay. Yeah. And I mentioned one where he is actually singled out an individual. And I must admit, Henry Anthony Maddy, until I'd read about him in this book, I wasn't aware of him. And he says this guy was quite a significant person in the cultural history of the Gambia, and particularly in the tourism industry. At a time when there was very little in the way of tourism to the Gambia, this was somebody who was quite a pioneer. And so, you know, Hassoum Cissé has brought him to life again by this book, and he's brought everybody, I think, who's in this book to life. For some of the more recent ones, you know, Sadauda Jawara, Yahya Jammeh, we know about them.
Yeah.
But for many of them, as I said, I studied Gambian history from Sierra Leone and from the UK. So I knew a bit about it, and because I also studied history, I knew about them. But when I read this book, it really enlightened me, and it actually led me to go and actually seek more information, because, as I said, most of the people in the book, he's covered them over 3 or 4 pages at the most. So how much can you say about somebody who's an interesting character, who's a significant historical character over 3 or 4 pages? Not that much.
Yeah.
But if you look at the names, you look at the times they lived in, you go online, you find hundreds, if not thousands of pages about them.
Yeah.
And really, that's why I wanted to feature these books. You know, really go out, read and learn about your history.
Mr. Ade, I think you should
You'll be
challenge
enriched.
us. Give us an assignment.
Ibrahim. Yes, I had a chat with one Gambian writer, Mr. Yaya Silla. You've written a couple of books, Danjo the Miracle Child, you know, how to be a millionaire.
We'll have to do it at another time, because I'm aware time is up.
Yes,
Yeah,
a whole lot of stuff. He said, we Gambians, we don't read. And readers are leaders.
Sure.
So I
Yes, thank you so much, Adedrame. I think you should give us an assignment to go and summarize this for you.
I will.
Because you talked about Gambians not reading anyway. So, Ibrahim,
Yeah.
I'm afraid that is all we have time for till we come your way tomorrow. Bye for now.